Hello and welcome. This is Afnan Sheikh. So today we are going to study one of the most important and fascinating fast growing technologies of our time, which is nothing but Internet of Things, also called as IoT. My goal is very simple. I want to make people very much clear that Internet of Things is not at all complex. So it's a part of our day-to-day life. So we are going to use it in our day-to-day life every day, but we are just unaware of it. So why I have written where everything talk is, you're going to get it very soon. So let's proceed. So what exactly is IoT or Internet of Things? To understand this in a more better and efficient way, let's take an example of a bulb and a sun. So we all know the basic characteristics or the work of a sun. It's just going to give us a source of light, right? That's it. We cannot control the sun or we cannot tell sun to retrieve any data and give to us. It's just going to give us a source of light. So while coming to a smart bulb, or we may say a bulb which has been connected to Alexa. So we all know Google Assistant and Alexa, right? So if we say bulb turn on or Alexa turn on the bulb, it's going to turn on. Alexa change the color of the bulb. It's going to change the color of the bulb. So this is where physical elements or objects are being connected to the internet. So in any circumstances which may be any of the electrical device which are being interconnected with each other via internet. So this is what called as Internet of Things. So I hope this is a very clear example of how it actually works, right? So sun, we cannot control the sun. It has its own work to perform and it does. So this kind of special bulb or a smart bulb by which it has been connected to Alexa is where Internet of Things actually works. Okay, so let's move forward. So imagine you being supercharged or completely surrounded by IoT. Imagine waking up early morning by a smart alarm, and immediately as soon as you wake up, a smartwatch is going to get activated and it's going to calculate all of your steps, and then followed by the breakfast machine, and then once the breakfast machine is being done, followed by the IoT car where it's going to pick and drop you to the office. And then even there in the office, everything is being surrounded by Internet of Things where each and everything is being automated. And imagine returning back to home via same IoT connected device, and as soon as you enter, you're going to see that all devices are being connected and they are communicating. Now this is where we are going to understand how these devices are being connected and they are communicating with each other and making our work more efficient. So it's definitely sure that we are being surrounded by IoT, but we are just unaware that what actually IoT means. So yeah, let's move forward and understand in a more deeper way. Okay, so let's dive into the most important topic for now, which is nothing but the building blocks of IoT. So if we see in our day-to-day life, let me take this cursor. So if we see in our day-to-day life, how it's getting smarter. So these are because of these building blocks of IoT, which are the basic things which we need to understand. So first is the device and sensors. So sensors are nothing but just like our eyes and ears. So just like how our eyes is going to sense the objects and it's going to send signals to brain, just like how our ears sense or hear something and then sends a signal to the brain. Similarly, these IoT objects, just like the bulb or Alexa, it's going to listen, sense from us, and it's going to send the data to the internet or through the internet, and from which the data is being retrieved, analyzed, and the signals are going to give us the output. Okay, so this is what sensor does. So they are going to retrieve the data, and next comes the tiny computers, which are microcontrollers. The most important part of IoT is microcontroller, which are also called as the brain of IoT. So this is where everything are being retrieved, analyzed, and then sources are being updated and the output is being given. So from where the data is being sensed and given to microcontrollers, where they are going to process the sense data and give to the connection. So if there is no connectivity, the data is not going to sense. Anyways, we need internet. So that's why we call it as a connectivity. We need a Wi-Fi. We need something to transfer the data from one point to another point. And next finally is cloud. We need something to store anything, right? Definitely we don't have any of the storage cells in these microcontrollers. So we're going to use this cloud to store the data, analyze, and keep it as an insights for us. So from where we are going to analyze and retrieve the data. Okay, so this is how a clearer picture, or we may say just an overview of how IoT works. So there is a lot to learn more about IoT. Okay, so let's proceed. So now let's see how Internet of Things works. So I have made a very simple flow of how it's going to work. So initially let's take an example of a weather detection app. So initially what we do is we are going to open the weather app. This is where the sensors are going to sense the data in the environment. and then when we click any of the city in the app, it's going to send the data online from the satellite. The environmental data is going to be retrieved and it is going to send to our mobile via cloud. And then this is where the environmental data via satellites are being collected and kept in the cloud storage, from where via online we are going to get in a device. And this is how the satellites are going to retrieve the data by using the internet from the cloud, and it's going to give us in the app. So this is how, in a more briefer way, we can understand how it's going to work. So let's proceed now. So now let's see how IoT is all around us. As I said, right, it's not just about smart homes. It's transferring everywhere in industries and in each and every aspect of life. So let's move forward and see how it's going to be useful in a real day-to-day life. So as you can see, the drone technology is going to use the IoT, where the drones are being controlled by humans. So this is where the drone technology, by using the antenna, it's going to retrieve the data from humans. So this is how they are being connected to us via internet. Similarly, in chemistry lab or in industries, how these machines are going to predict the data and track the inventory management. Okay, so now let's see in the next views. So why IoT matters and what are the benefits of it? So the brighter sides which we have to know is it's going to save our time. So as I said, we can take example of the smart bulb itself. So if you want to turn on a bulb, you should proceed towards the switch, turn on or turn it off. So what if there is an automated Alexa? Just sit in one place and say, Alexa, turn off the bulb. It's going to turn off. So this is where it's going to save our time. And then remote control, just as I said, we can also have a remote or we can just use our own voice for it. And efficiency, definitely it's going to be much more efficient for us. And finally, the things which we have to keep in mind is that internet dependency. So if there is a slight deficiency or variance in the internet, it's going to slow down. So it needs a constant speed of internet to which it's going to work in a more better way. Next is privacy. So Internet of Things is something where you have to provide the entire data for it. That's how it's going to analyze and then it's going to give us the information. So there may be some privacy concerns, but it's actually worth it how we're going to use it. And then finally, security. The most important thing is you have to secure your IoT devices before you're going to use it. So these are the keys or the cons and the do's which you have to remember in your mind. So this is a brief overview of how IoT is going to be enhancing in the future of our generation. So the future is definitely connected, and that's where IoT journey begins. So thank you so much, Afnan Sheikh.